Um, Now, I wanted to ask you about, what do we see next from America First foreign policy? Because there's a lot of talk about that there's going to be a divide and between people who are more isolationist and people who aren't. But personally, I think that Americans are still very unified around President Trump. Um, and his amazing team, Marco Rubio, everybody, JD Vance. Do you feel like the next presidential election that we have, we're going to see a continuing or carrying forward of the America First foreign policy, or are we going to see something totally different?
There's been some talk that there's big divisions within the MAGA movement or the America First movement over the war in Iran. That's just not true.
Mm.
There are some people who disagree, Tucker Carlson, for example, but the vast majority of Republicans and MAGA members support the war. They support what President Trump is doing. The polls all show that. The media wants to say there's a big divide and that the president has betrayed his followers. Look, Tucker has said things like that. Tucker doesn't speak for the MAGA movement.
Mm.
Trump's been clear about that. And look, it's good to have a movement where there's people with different points of view, where we may have to fight it out sometimes to get it right. When the president endorsed Israel's attack against Iran last June, there were people in his movement who didn't like it, but most of them said, we may not support the war here, but we trust the president and we're still going to be with him. That's where things are right now. So the media may try to gin up some story that there's a big divide because they found a handful of people who don't like the president. And did you see the news media is listing Alex Jones as a member of the MAGA movement? He's never been a member of the MAGA movement. He is a Fruit Loop and has nothing to do with Trump's movement. And when the media runs around saying that he represents some kind of a divide with the Trump administration, I'm glad people like that are not with us, because we know his record and the terrible things he said in his radio show, which he lost because of a lawsuit.
Mm.
So I think that the movement is pretty strong. It's sticking together. It has proved to be a way of putting the American people first when making foreign policy decisions that's working and that the American people support. I think this approach by the president has really transformed conservative thinking on national security, and it's going to endure long into the future.